Everyone, and welcome to this week's Arch Capital Update. I'm joined by Michael Rees-Evans here, Senior Financial Advisor in the team. Thanks for joining us today, Michael. Today, really just want to go through the budget. It's been a pretty exciting week in politics. Seen the budget released a few days ago, and we've had an election called today, May 3rd. We'll all be heading to the polls. So I thought we'd just go through a bit of an update today, Michael, and we'll take you through some of the key points.
Sounds great. So a quick snapshot really, is very much an election budget. They're trying to cut energy bills, trying to ban non-compete clauses, which we think isn't so great for small businesses. It really makes it easier for employees to move and take clients from hairdressers and financial planning practices and things, although there is a limit on how much people have to earn before it applies to them. Foreign home buyers ban is also something else. It's aimed to try and increase the benefits for Australians and reduce the pressure on house prices going up. And then the other one is also the freeze on beer prices, which is always welcome, but it's gone up so much, it goes up every 6 months.
Yeah, interestingly, fairly uninteresting from a superannuation perspective.
Yeah, which is great.
We saw last budget that Labor government tried to introduce that $3 million cap on superannuation. We still haven't seen that be legislated.
Yep.
They'll probably take that into their next term if re-elected, but from a superannuation point of view, nothing exciting.
Which is great. Love boring with super. There's been so much change, it causes people to lose their trust in the system. What they did announce is tax cuts, but it's very trivial. It's only going to come in a year and a half's time. There's talk about 70 cents a day, but it doesn't really mean a lot, and it'll cost a lot in a couple of years. So unlikely it'll make any difference to people. Be interesting to see what the opposition has said, and we'll touch on that in the end, because it is an election budget, so this does depend on them winning the election and it getting through.
Yeah.
A couple of changes to home to help. It's quite a mouthful there. Help to Buy scheme. So there's a few details on there. Do you want to run through that?
Yeah, it's great for, I suppose, maybe younger clients and people in that
like
stage of life that are looking to get into the property. So there are changes to that, home to buy equity access scheme, so where the government will, buy a portion of the equity in the home. So there's just some changes to the caps there. Again, nothing major, but if legislated, good opportunity to help the younger generation into the housing market.
I think healthcare is another thing. Very concerned about the pressure on living costs and health in particular. And so they've arranged a bit more bulk billing, trying to increase the rate of bulk billing. 640 million spend to build 50 more urgent call centres, which is arguably welcome. And then PBS listed medicines, they're going to cut the cost a little bit from nearly $32 to $25 a script.
Yeah, the other thing on the PBS there that's not mentioned for clients with the Commonwealth Seniors Healthcare Card, no changes. They're still limiting the max prescription at $7.70, and that they're trying to legislate that till 2030. So the $7.70 for your prescription at the pharmacist, $7.70 hopefully till 2030.
Great, and a lot of clients now have Centrelink, Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, who can't get Centrelink, so that's pretty helpful. We did notice a win for pandas, which is very interesting. Looking through the details, Adelaide Zoo's two pandas are going to be getting nearly $4 million spent over 5 years, so they've been dubbed as millionaires, but of course it's spent on them, not for them. And then we might touch briefly, we did have because it's budget in a few weeks, an election in a few weeks, the budget may not have legs. 3rd of May, we'll see it happens. The budget reply from the Liberals is quite interesting. They've announced 4 bills they're going to go put into place on day one. Obviously looking at Trump a little bit saying starting, but it's bills, so it's got to get through both the lower house and the upper house, which is always a challenge. It's really looking at cutting energy bills, lowering immigration to try and help more homes, a little bit like the budget has tried to ban foreigners buying homes, keep Australians safe. A lot of people concerned about law and order, and also better funding for health and education, particularly on the mental health side of things. But more interesting, more immediately, and that's really them trying to contrast with the tax cut, is the day one 50% cut in fuel excise only for a year to allow them time to do proper budget repair. They say, politicians being politicians, they love to get more taxes. But it will be a much more immediate hit of about $15 a week for the average tank of 55 litres. And it's about $1,500 a year. So that's pretty good and pretty immediate, really aiming at the tradies and the people that travel to work from the outer suburbs, rather than those that can plug in the inner cities in their EVs. National gas plan's another thing that's pretty interesting, and that's really, unlike most countries that export a lot of gas, We don't have any reservations, so it means that Australians need to compete with the international market and suppliers can sell abroad. So that will have an immediate, it's expected and hoped to have an immediate impact on our electricity prices, which of course everyone is feeling the pain of. They've announced trying to push a lot more apprenticeships, 400,000 apprenticeships and trainees. And also something very welcome for a lot of our clients is the instant asset write-off. The budget is cutting that to $1,000. There's not a lot you can buy for $1,000, particularly if you're a tradie or a hairdresser trying to equip your business. The Liberals have said that if they get in and they get it through, they're going to look for 30,000 instant asset write-off being extended indefinitely.
Yeah, so look, in summary, really, what does it all mean? I suppose, well, not much at the moment. Really just depends. You know, we've got 5 weeks now. There'll be a bit of campaigning, and you know, it's a toss of the coin who's going to get in on May 3. So yeah, some interesting replies and you know, a pretty uninteresting budget,
Which is
relatively
great.
speaking.
Love uninteresting budgets.
But
More
of course,
certainty for clients.
exactly. But of course, any questions, feel free to reach out to your advisor, team@archcapital.com.au, and we'd love to have a chat. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Michael.